Last week, parts of Nairobi experienced intense flooding after just a few hours of heavy rainfall. Some roads became impassable, some homes were also damaged, and some families had water entering their living rooms. But at the same time, in Muranga, somewhere in Muranga County, I visited a newly built home that is powered almost entirely by solar energy. The national grid is installed, but only as backup. That was very interesting. And the homeowner told us something interesting, that they no longer worry about power outages or rising electricity bills. Very interesting. Now, these are situations which may seem unrelated. One is about flooding, and the other one is about solar power. But they are connected by one issue, which is climate risk. So today, I want us to explain why climate risk matters for our home in Kenya, whether you live in Nairobi, Kisumu, Mombasa, Muranga, or anywhere else in the country. So when people hear climate change, they often think of global temperatures or international conferences. But climate risk is much more practical than that. For a homeowner, for instance, climate risk means, number one, unpredictable rainfall patterns. Number two, more intense storms. Number three, longer dry spells, that's drought, higher temperatures, and number five, energy instability. And these are not abstract concepts. They are just not concepts that they are abstract. They directly affect, number one, maybe your roof, depending on the roof you have, your drainage system, your electricity supply, your property value, and even your maintenance costs. So if your home floods once every few years, that is not just an inconvenience. It reduces the long-term value of your property. If it floods every few years, it also increases the repair expenses. It may even increase the insurance premiums if at all you are insured your property. So climate risk is a financial risk. It is structural risk, and increasingly is an investment risk. So let's start with urban areas. We are looking at the flooding and property risk. Let's start with the urban areas. In Nairobi, for instance, certain estates are built on low-lying land. So during heavy rainfall, drainage systems are quickly overwhelmed, and the roads get flooded, and water accumulates around foundations. Now imagine you are buying property in such an area. If you do not assess flood risk, you may purchase a home that becomes more expensive to maintain over time. So even beyond physical damage, perception matters. For instance, if a neighborhood develops a reputation for flooding, property demand declines. That affects resale value. So the property demand declines, which also affects the resale value. So this is where climate risk becomes quietly powerful, because it influences, one, mortgage approvals. If you are buying your property through mortgage, the insurance prices is also influenced. It also influences rental demand and also long-term land value. So banks and insurance are already thinking about this, even if ordinary homeowners are not. And that is why understanding local climate patterns is no longer optional for property owners. You really need to understand the local climate patterns. Now let's shift to Muranga. So now we've dealt with an urban, let's go to the rural and peri-urban example. And here we'll be talking at energy resilience. Now let's shift now to Muranga and what I witnessed that time, and similar counties like Muranga. So more homeowners are installing solar panels, not as a luxury, but as a resilience strategy. And why is this happening? Because electricity costs have risen, power outages remain unpredictable. You don't know when the power will go. For families running small business from home, for instance, we know most people are also doing their business from home. The blackouts disrupt the income, because if you're working from home and you don't have energy or energy source, you don't have power, then it will disrupt your income. For households with the refrigerators, outages also mean food spoilage. So solar energy changes that equation. How? It reduces reliance on the grid. It also stabilizes household energy costs, and it protects the appliances. We know sometimes appliances are usually affected by outages. When the power comes back, there's sometimes a surge, and sometimes you can have your appliances getting affected. It also increases energy independence. So from a climate perspective, it also reduces emissions, the greenhouse gases. But from owners' perspective, the key benefit is stability. As we said, if you have, for instance, if you have a small business, your income is not affected by the disruption of power. So stability is valuable, and this is an example of climate adaptation at the household level. So you are adapting to climate change, not activism. No, it's not a theory, but a practical adjustment to changing conditions. So what does this mean for you? So what should the average Kenyan homeowner or renter do? First, you need to assess your location. As we said, there are some areas which are prone to flooding. So is your home in a flood-prone area? Has your neighborhood experienced repeated drainage issues? And do you notice increasing heat inside your house over the years? Second, you need also to strengthen simple systems. Something like you need to clear and maintain your drainage so that when the floods come, the drainage is clear, water can flow. You also need to ensure gutters are functional, and this is also very good because sometimes even these gutters you can collect rainwater and use it somewhere else. You also need to consider roof insulation or reflective roofing materials in case of leakages, and elevate sensitive electrical system if flooding is possible. So that those are the systems you need to strengthen. Then third, you need to evaluate your energy situation. So if the grid reliability is low, it's not reliable, or it is low, explore hybrid solar solutions. You do not have to go fully off grid. You do not have to do away with the national grid completely. But even partial solar reduces risk. For instance, you can put in solar water system, hot water system, where you can use it for showering or whatever hot water uses you have in your house. So none of these steps are extreme. They are measured and they are practical responses. So climate risk does not require panic. It requires awareness. So long as you are aware of the climate risk, then you prepare for that. So let's look at the bigger picture. At a national level, Kenya talks about sustainability. We talk about renewable energy. We talk about climate action. So these discussions often reference global frameworks in some cases, like Sustainable Development Goal 11, which focuses on sustainable cities, and Goal 13, which focuses on climate action. But these goals only become meaningful when translated into daily life, your daily life and my daily life. So a flood-resistant home is climate action. So if you have a flood-resistant home, that's climate action. A solar-powered household is climate action. Improper drainage in a neighborhood is climate action. Improved, not improper. Improved drainage in a neighborhood is climate action. As you have seen, sometimes when there's flooding, you also have maintenance costs, which rises per year and all that. So that's why I said improved drainage in a neighborhood is climate action. You do not need to attend a conference to participate. You participate by protecting your property wisely. And increasingly, financial institutions and developers are paying attention to these patterns. So climate resilience is becoming part of how investment decisions are made. As we finish, climate risk in Kenya is no longer theoretical. It is practical. It is visible in our cities, our counties, our electricity bills, and our building decisions. So understanding it early gives you an advantage. So in this series, I will continue examining how climate patterns affect the property, energy, and investment decisions across the country, calmly, practically, and without exaggeration. If this perspective is useful to you, subscribe and follow along, and if you are building, buying, or renovating a home, start asking one additional question. What is the climate risk here? Because protecting your home is not just about today. It's about the next 10, 20, or even 30 years. Next time, bye.